When in reality, your goal should be set, determined based on your quality of lifestyle that you want. So if you want 30 G's per month, you want to make over $300,000 per year, you need to find out from there, okay, then that's 30 grand a month. How many units do I need to do to hit 30 grand? And then that you'll find that count. And then you break that up over 20 business days. Well, how many per day do I need, right? So if you need 2 sales per day to get 40 for the month, and that 40 nets you 30 grand, well, boo-boo, you got the answer.
Yeah.
And so when you find out that you need 2 per day, then you need to work down what's called your KPIs, your key performance indicators. And so your KPI is something like, of 10 people, how many people are you going to pull credit on? Of those credit pulls, how many people are you going to pitch? Of those pitches, how many are you going to lock? And of those lock, how many are you going to submit? That becomes your answer. And so if you find out that to hit that 2, to hit that 40, to hit that 30K, to hit that 300K, all comes back down to, I need 2 sales a day. Well, then baby, all you need is a dub. And so find out what actions you need to put in place to make sure you get your dub. And if you get your dub, then you got an unlock to go get that lifestyle. Well, there it is. Now you got the resources to the selling. Now you got the resources to the money. Now you got all the resources in front of you. The question is what you gonna do about it.
Connected to Sales Remastered.
Hey guys, it's your girl, Miss Dagmara, life and empowerment coach, mortgage lending expert, and owner of Real Talk with Miss Dagmara. And I'm here with Daniel. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend.
What's up, everybody? My name is Daniel Niekart. I'm the content creator at Sales Remastered. You can catch my content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, basically all the platforms. And I'm a mortgage sales coach, and I teach mindset development. And I'm going to spend the day here. I was invited by Dee to come by on the show and talk about some content that all of our audience can really extract some value from and help you get on with your day and get through your challenges that you're going through right now. And so I hope to do that. So I thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Daniel. So today, what we want to talk to you about is, in our industry, we have ups and downs, as some of you know, right? We have highs, we have lows, we have in-betweens. And right now, our market is not the most stable. So what I want to talk to you guys about is, in a down market, how to stay motivated and how to stay inspired. And I just want to get some feedback from Daniel as far as the loan officers he works with and how he keeps his team motivated in this down market.
Yeah, so if you're in real estate, even if you're not in real estate, we go through different challenges where we find ourselves at a almost like a plateau level, where you're doing a lot of different actions, you're doing a lot of different steps to help elevate your game or get yourself up to that level where either you used to be or you aspire to be. And in the real estate game right now, a lot of agents are really trying to get back to where things used to be. And ultimately where they find themselves at, where like a business decline, it's challenging because us in sales, we rely on our commission. We're only paid for how much we produce. And so it's a real challenging time in real estate because, business is down and it takes a specific kind of mindset to dig yourself out. But if you can push past and find a way to dig yourself out and prevail, you're going to find that a lot of the competition is actually just weeding itself out. And so the market is going through a specific correction where it's kind of like the law of average, where it's just weeding out the average and it's leaving the top performers and the top producers. So the key to even get there, though, is it all really starts with mindset. So my team, I'm fortunate to hustle alongside with the #1 team on a national size, multi-billion-dollar scale company. It's called New American Funding, and I just came back from a trip from Cabo, which I share on the Instagram feed, and we got, we were treated for being part of the 1% of the company, the top of the top. And it was real interesting to see the mindset of these elite performers versus the mindset on a general broad scale when you get back into either a call center, your own office, your own cubicle aisle, wherever you are, even with your own circle of friends outside of work. And it reminded me how important it is the sounds and the pictures that are in your surroundings influence you. And so why I mention that is because when you apply it to your own environment, it is the sounds and the influences around you that actually determine how you view things. So if your circle and your environment and your people are talking about worrying all the time, are talking about going without all the time, are complaining and blaming all the time, then it becomes true to you and it becomes your reality. And so as humans, we adapt to our circle, we adapt to our reality, but we're also influenced by them. And so if you're surrounded by all this worry, sometimes it can really get to you. And so, my guys go through it the same. Even though they're on the number one team in the company, they get challenged by themselves, most in particular. And so I think it's just a common, it's a real common challenge that a lot of us, just not even in sales, we go through these ups and downs. And it's a matter of really trying to stay motivated.
I agree. I will have to say motivation is key. Keeping the right mindset is key. And that goes along with even your daily life and your relationships, in business, with your kids, in your marriage, whatever the case might be. Keeping the right mindset is key. So even if things around you are, think about like if you're on a boat and things around you are just like crashing around you, you got to keep still, be still, hence my tattoo here. Be still. So it's super important to stay consistent and to stay grounded no matter what's going on in the market and mortgage. So guidelines might change, market might change, rates may go up, and then you'll say, well, I can't sell because XYZ, or I can't sell. That's an excuse that is not needed. No matter what happens, you just rebalance yourself, you reorganize, you change your mindset, and you figure out, okay, what do I do from here? How do I adapt to these changes? Like Daniel was saying, how do I adapt to the market? And that's what you really need to do. So when you're in a down market, it's important to not only keep a positive mindset about yourself, make sure that those around you are not affecting you with their negative mindset, which is super important. So you want to make sure that the circle that's around you is only lifting you higher, so you guys are celebrating each other. So keep yourself motivated by having people around you that are doing the same thing. And stay consistent. No matter what the market is doing, you want to stay consistent. So if we're in a refi market, for instance, like we were the last couple of years, some of my clients were just like, okay, I'm only doing refis. And if you say, well, what about purchases? Well, I don't know how to do a purchase. Well, figure it out, Right. Like, so now they're sitting here spending time trying to figure out what kind of loans they can do and what can they market for. And it's like, if you would have done that 2 years ago to diversify yourself in all types of programs, this would not be happening, because you would still have an X amount of percentage of purchase business while still keeping your refi business. And then now you're talking about going from, let's just say, for example, instead of doing VA IRRRLs, you're now doing VA cash out, okay? Or you're doing purchases, or you're asking, you've implemented in the last 2 years a CRM software to keep track of your clients so that you still have that business rolling in. And the key thing is to always remember to connect with other people. You don't want to stay in a bubble and just stay there and not go outside of that. You want to use all of the resources that you have to be able to get business. So whether that means realtor relationships and building upon that, whether that means marketing, whether that's, newsletters and email marketing, or even videos like this or things of that nature, use it all to your advantage. There's no excuse that you can come up with besides the fact that you don't put the work in, because if you put the work in, you will get the results. And you have to have that sort of mindset, that success, that abundance mindset, that I'm going to put this work in and thank you in advance for the results I'm going to get from this.
Yeah, 100%. I can't agree with you more. I think it is important to recognize your resources and what you have around you, because if you don't give credit to the resources, what you have, you're just finding reasons of what's wrong, right? You're finding reasons as to why it's not working. And as society, sometimes it's not our fault. Sometimes it's not your fault. We're wired by this way from a younger age. From little kids growing up, we're taught like, hey, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Just don't do that. Be safe, right? Don't take risks. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And it's conflicting information because when you are in sales or when you are trying to get motivated, you have to learn how to put all your eggs in one basket. And it's really a matter of going all in. And what I have found, what really helps me in regards to staying consistent is when you recognize where you are now and you think in the past of certain things that you've overcome. Like me personally, I've been homeless. I've been a drug addict. I ran with the wrong crowds, and I grew up as a knucklehead. I've been in jail multiple times. I've been arrested. I've been almost on my way to the army because I had nothing going for me. And then when I recognized that I was actually going to be a parent, the funny thing is that it was the fear of me not providing and the fear of my child going through what I went through that turned my life around. And I thank God it happened, but through these challenges and coming up, because you're going into an environment where you're foreign, right? This is an environment that you're not used to. And that's something that I had to face in coming up, and I multiple times I've failed and then had to climb back up, failed and had to climb back up. Like we were talking about the 2008 recession. I was definitely part of that. I lost my house, I lost a couple cars, and I was very young at the time. And, I winded all the way back down to zero. And money was my status at the time. It was your status because you become so reliant on brand names. You become reliant on this figure of baller status, right? Because this is society. This is the public image that people think you're cool because you got Gucci flip-flops. But really in reality, what we want is we just want to have the alternative, right? So the alternative of Walmart, we want Target, right? We want Target. Instead of Target, we want, the next up thing. So we're always on this constant climb. And we find ourselves where sometimes it's hard to climb and sometimes it's really hard to dig deep. And again, what's really helped influence me is just knowing the alternative. And so if you don't pursue the higher alternative, it is your choice to settle and stay back. And it's just like it's a choice to rely on an excuse. When you give yourself an excuse, you've justified why you're settling. You've justified why you're not going to step up. And no one can be mad at anybody but you, right? That's your life. You chose to do that. And so I really had to rely on that in coming up and going through these different challenges. So, and then of course I went from street sales to legal sales, right? Like I was legally doing it and I made it into a game. And that's, you asked me, how do I keep my team so motivated? How I keep my team motivated is I actually shelter them off and I make their own community. You see, I work in a call center, so I have over 200 sales agents all around me. It's a huge call center. And my team's only 10 of these 200 people. So we're just this little pocket of group. But what I do every day is I keep control of what they hear. I keep control of what they see. And more importantly, I keep control of how they're motivated. And so I put them against each other actually, because I understand that salesmen are naturally competitive. And then when you build them up into teams and you put them against each other, you build a culture. It's like a team within a huge team. And when you build this world, you have a little bit more control of what penetrates your world. Because if one member of your team doesn't agree with things that are being influenced by the outside, the other team that does agree and buy into that culture will influence that person from swaying different. Everyone will gang up and say, "Hey, man, you're having the wrong mindset. You could do it. You could get back up." And it's a beautiful thing to see the team help each other versus most salesmen who's just out to get themselves.
And something that I heard you say that really resonated with me right now, that I'm like, don't forget this, is that I'm such an advocate about telling my viewers and my listeners and everybody around me and in my coaching, when I coach people, is that you are 100% responsible for the choices that you make, for the behaviors that you exemplify or display to others, for the people that you keep in your life, and everything around you. But you also are 100% responsible for the emotional reaction that you give situations. So in a down market, when everyone else is whining and crying, you are 100% responsible for changing that mindset and saying, I'm not going to be this person. I'm going to be the person that says, I don't care what it is. There's no excuse. I'm going to jump on the phone and make an extra 20 calls today.
Yes.
I'm going to do this, this, and this to be able to get to my goal. And goal setting and keeping your goals in mind is also super important, because while you're in a down market, it's hard not to listen to those that say, oh, we're heading into recession, or all this other, nonsense that people are talking about. No matter what, people have been in this industry for years selling, and they don't stop selling. They're still selling. They're going to continue to sell. They're just going to adapt to the market and make changes. So that's important to note, that we are 100% responsible for what we put into our work, how we stay motivated, how we stay inspired. And that's where success comes from, is all of that work that we put in. And especially when we sit there and we really, really, really develop relationships, and we're passionate about what we do in our work. And also when we get that success back, we stay motivated. And then we can show others, like Daniel does in his business, how to stay motivated, how to stay inspired. And that, at the end of the day, equals success.
Yes.
100%.
100%.
Ow. Oh, this is the back footage, though.
Yeah. No, but I think you bring up a great point. Sometimes it's hard to be motivated because those who we believe are our circle of friends, there's no one that's higher. There's no one to actually look onto to be like, hey, I want to be like you. I want to be that one person. And sometimes it comes from our own self that blocks us from doing that, because it's cool not to be like someone else, right? So you might get it twisted and think that, well, if I try to be like them, no, that's wrong. I got to be like myself. When in all reality, you always need someone to look up to. That's why mentors and coaches are helpful, is because there is a destination that drives you. And you may not know that it's driving you, but there's something that drives you right now. And what it is basically fear. It's fear of not winning. It's fear of not paying your bills. It's fear of not making your rent. It's fear of not making your mortgage. That's what's driving you, and that's why you panic inside of a unstable market. But when you take a step back without a bias filter through your point of view, you're going to notice that ain't nothing different. Like, this has always happened. Market rates are always shifting, right? And so you might pay attention to the market rate going up, but what you're not paying attention to is the equity going up. What you're not paying attention to are these people still financed with FHA loans and need to drop that MI. What you're not paying attention to is the bad FICO that they need help with in improving. What you're not remembering is that 8 out of 10 homeowners are living check to check. What you forgot is that you sell money, right? We sell solutions. That's it. And so if you sit back and say, oh, but the market's going down, to who? I'm surrounded by killers right now that haven't skipped a beat. Now, granted, there's some people on the team that are going through these challenges, and not everyone's built that way. But if you got the audacity to want the rewards of that hustle, that game, of this game called real estate, you want to experience that lifestyle, well then, boo-boo, you gotta do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do, right? Like, that's all on you. You gotta do that shit.
Yeah.
And so not too many people are willing to do that, though, because not everybody is built to do that. And I would say the number one reason why we believe we're not built to do that is because we're living through the perception of other people's point of view. Meaning, you're living through the perception of your mom, of your dad, of them saying, be careful, you're gonna fail. People in sales are inconsistent. You're living through their perception, not through your own. And what we're talking about right now is that it is a choice. So if you want to be better, you want to protect yourself, go find someone that's doing it better already. Go find someone that's doing it better than you. Go find someone that you want to be this time 3 years from now, right? Like, that's the person that you need to latch on to, because they're winning. The only people that aren't winning are those that are living in fear. And the reason why they're living in fear is because it's their perception, right? And don't let that influence you. There was this one quote that I caught. It was on Instagram. It said, don't let someone's lack of passion determine yours, right? And it made a lot of sense, because it was like, it's something that we do a lot. I got friends and like people that I met growing up that believe that we're literally locked up in their mind. They believe that they couldn't get out of the hood. they believed that, their roots were so strong that they didn't have a choice to move to the next county over. That was the whole difference in my life. I just changed my surroundings. I went from LA County to Orange County, and going to Orange County was just a different environment. It was a different scenery. And sometimes that's just what we need to do, but it's hard to let go of our current environment because that's our comfort zone. So sometimes it's more comfortable to complain. Sometimes it's more comfortable to blame. But at the same time, you have to be comfortable with the results that you end up with. Yeah.
That's so true. And in coaching, we talk about assumptions, gremlins, and limiting beliefs. And let's talk about gremlins. A gremlin is a voice you wake up with that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, and any other kind of inner voice that might follow you around. So just think about it like, my gremlin is Barbara. And Barbara tells me when I wake up, I'm not good enough. So what I do is I tell Barbara to F off in the morning and leave her in the bed. And I say, Barbara, you're not going to come to the shower with me. You're not going to come with me during my day today and tell me that I'm not good enough, that I'm not smart enough, that I don't have enough experience. Because Barbara, I've been successful and I've closed over 34 million in volume per month on my own.
Boom.
So Barbara, you don't tell me that I can't be successful in this market. Then there's a limiting belief. A limiting belief might come from your past, like Daniel was saying, like from how you grew up or your parents. Limiting belief is like, for instance, because I am not educated, I can't be successful. That's a limiting belief. And that's limiting, keyword. So we need to let go of limiting beliefs. We need to acknowledge our gremlins. And then the last one is an assumption. An assumption is let's just say, for instance, in a relationship, I'm going to relate this because I'm having a hard time kind of relating it to the industry. But let's just say my last relationship didn't work out, so this one's not going to work out. Or my last loan didn't close, so this one's not going to close. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's an assumption. Just because it happened before doesn't mean it has to happen again.
Amen.
You got to get rid of limiting beliefs and assumptions in order to bypass that and create the successful life of your choosing. And I say of your choosing because no one else, not a coach, not a sales coach, not anybody, not a therapist, not your mom, not your dad, not your best friend, they are not going to decide to live the life of your choosing. They might give you opinions which might not even resonate with you. So that's important to decide and make your rules. If you need to write them down, do so. This is where I see myself in 3 years. This is where I see myself in 12 months and 5 years. This is who I want to be. Do an envisioning exercise about your success. I will be closing 100 loans per month. I will be making $300,000 a year, if not more. I will buy my first home. I will be married. I will have 2 children. Whatever the case is, whatever you envision for yourself, be in that vision on a daily basis and think about how is that going to feel in 5 years when I'm in that place? How is it going to feel in 1 month when I'm closing these loans and I'm successful and I'm helping people, and I'm motivating others around me? How is that going to feel? It's going to feel effing amazing. And you need to focus on how is that going to feel. So as a coach, I ask my clients, okay, if they have a goal, for instance, we use the AIM SMART. What's the minimum that you can do? What's the maximum you can do to achieve your goal? And what's a realistic approach to reach your goal? And in how many days, how many months, etc. And then we go into how is that going to happen? So for instance, in sales, hey, Bobby, what does success mean to you? Bobby says, success means to me, Daniel, that I'm going to close 10 loans this month in June. Daniel will say, how are you going to make that happen? What do you need to do to make that happen? Then you let the person self-reflect. So it's all about self-reflection. You don't need somebody to ask you. You could do that on your own. You don't need a Daniel. You don't need a D. Right. We would love for you to hire us, but I'm just saying, you can do that on your own. I want to close 10 loans in June. What do I need to do to make that happen? How am I going to do that? What do I need to implement? Let's do some brainstorming. And beyond that, how am I going to feel once I achieve this goal. And focus on that feeling, because that's empowerment in and of itself. Empowering yourself, and that just transfers over to everyone around you. Empowerment is key in this business, because if you don't feel empowered on a day-to-day basis, you're going to a job where you don't feel like, hey, I'm lucky to be here.
Right.
Thank God for the opportunity every morning when you wake up. Do your daily affirmations. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to be going to a job. Even though the market's down and my check has dropped by 60%, don't think about that. Stop focusing on the money. Stop focusing on how many loans you're closing. Just keep being consistent. Be thankful for the opportunity that you have room for growth, that you have the opportunity to grow and be successful, that you're alive, that you have what it takes within you to live the life of your choosing, a peaceful, balanced, successful, and happy life at the end of the day.
Amen. Amen. That was good. That was real good. You brought up a good point, and it's like you really have to take in consideration of what we're blessed with right now. And, I think a lot of us right now, we used to pray for what we have today, and we just forgot. We used to pray for that because we're too busy praying for the next thing. And, like my experience, I did a video that I uploaded, and it was 2 videos ago on my YouTube channel and Facebook, which, by the way, you want to go check that out at Sales Remastered. You can search hashtag at Sales Remastered, Google it. You could look me up, Daniel Niekart, and go check out the content. I think it's real helpful, especially if you're in sales, because 90% of sales is really mindset. It's attitude. The rest is the wordplay, is the strategy, the techniques, right? The guidelines and stuff like that. But I just recently came back from Cabo. And the streets, if you guys haven't been, in Cabo or Mexico, it's just different. Just the area is different, and everywhere we went, we took a taxi, and the taxi driver, they're so used to the streets that they just drive crazy, right? But if you're in the back of the taxi and you haven't been around, you're like, oh shit! It's like a roller coaster. So you're like, oh shit, we don't even got seatbelts on, and you look at the roads, you look at the surroundings, and you're like, man. Sometimes we get caught up in our own environment. We forget how good we got it. And so if you look at second world, third world, people that are living anywhere in this world that don't have food, that don't have water, we got internet, we got a computer in our pocket. We got so many different opportunities and access to the resources that give us the ability to continue climbing. Whereas like 10 years ago, like our ancestors, our elders, they didn't have this. They didn't have YouTube. They didn't have the ability to go follow an influencer on the other side of the world to see how they found their success and then take pieces from their climb to make their own. Right? They didn't have that. They had to be pioneers and work with what they had. And so if you have this opportunity to do better than your elders and literally make, it's your choice. You can make it. Like, you just need to do it. And you might be like, well, D, I don't know where to begin. Where to begin is find out where you want to go and then reverse engineer that. Like what D was saying is like, if you want to do 10 units, like it's interesting because a lot of salespeople will hear a minimum quota, right? Like a minimum quota is 8, and they'll use that as their goal. When we sometimes forget that shouldn't be our goal, that's just letting you know that's the minimum, right? But sometimes we use that as kind of like our plan B, like our sense of comfort, saying, well, at least if I get 8, I'll be okay, and that becomes your settlement. When in reality, your goal should be set, determined based on your quality of lifestyle that you want. So if you want 30 G's per month, you want to make over $300,000 per year, you need to find out from there, okay, then that's 30 grand a month. How many units do I need to do to hit 30 grand? And then that you'll find that count. And then you break that up over 20 business days. Well, how many per day do I need, right? So if you need 2 sales per day to get 40 for the month, and that 40 nets you 30 grand, well, boo-boo, you got the answer. Yeah. And so when you find out that you need 2 per day, then you need to work down what's called your KPIs, your key performance indicators. And so your KPI is something like, of 10 people, how many people are you going to pull credit on? Of those credit pulls, how many people are you going to pitch? Of those pitches, how many are you going to lock? And of those lock, how many are you going to submit? That becomes your answer. And so if you find out that to hit that 2, to hit that 40, to hit that 30K, to hit that 300K, all comes back down to I need 2 sales a day. Well, then, baby, all you need is a dub. And so find out what actions you need to put in place to make sure you get your dub. And if you get your dub, then you got an unlock to go get that lifestyle. Well, there it is. Now you got the resources to the selling. Now you got the resources to the money. Now you got all the resources in front of you. The question is what you gonna do about it, right? That's all it comes down to. There it is.
That's so key. It's like, that's exactly like what I do with my clients. It's like, where do you want to be?
Right.
What do you need to do to get there?
It's reverse engineering.
You don't need to ask someone else.
Right.
Don't sit there and think about the minimum quota. You think about, just like Daniel said, how much money do you want to make this month? You want to make 300,000? What is it going to take?
Right.
Okay. Now maybe that's not realistic for the next month, but let's say, okay, the realistic aspect is 45,000. How many, just like you said, how many loans do I need to close? Units in his case. How many sales per day? Then you also got to figure out like the percentage of, what's that word I'm looking for? Like the fallout percentage,
Conversion.
basically. Yeah.
Yep.
So, there's a term for it in our wholesale industry. My mind just went effing blank.
The fallouts. We'll
The
call them the
fallouts,
fallouts.
but there's
The
another
boo-boos.
word for it. Like let's say you get 10 loans submitted, right? Out of those 10, maybe only 75% will close because the other 2 might have deposited 10,000 in their bank account last week, cash, mattress cash, and now they can't sources, and now they.
No, but I think you bring up a good point. It really does come down to reverse engineering. And so if there's a destination to mark your spot, then you got to find out, reverse engineer and start from your end result, right? And I think that's sometimes where we all need to start. We all do in some way. Like we wake up and we're like, okay, I'm gonna look my best, or I'm gonna go to work, or I'm gonna have a good day, or I'm gonna make a sale. There's always that X, right? And in order to hit that X, Y, and Z, you need to do A, B, and C first. And sometimes we don't know what that A, B, and C is. Sometimes we just go in waiting for a call, or waiting for a laydown, or waiting for a lead. And we can be so fused up in waiting, we forget that we really need to adapt and actually make movements that are outside of what we're normally doing. And so if you want results that are different than what you're getting, you got to be able to do, or be willing to do, what you're not currently doing right now. And so if you're in a, like, for example, like one response that I can envision someone saying after watching this is saying, but there's no way I could do that because my company is A, B, and C, or whatever reason, right? Like, because my circumstance is this. Well, I want you to know, number one, you just spit out the answer. And so now you know the answer, right? So if you believe that it's because of that, then what are you going to do about it? Are you going to continue going through that climb, or are you going to make the moves to get you out of that climb? So find a way to dig yourself out. And if you can find a way to dig yourself out, then you can do it multiple times, again and again and again and again. The truth is, though, is that people who came into the real estate industry between, like, let's say 2013 to 2018 up until now, they came up in a time where all you had to do was have an NMLS license, and you could just write loans, right? People were shopping. And now we're seeing a shift where people are more interested in competition. They're more interested in lowering the rates, and that's just the way that they talk. And I guarantee you, like any mortgage banker, anyone doing real estate right now, that's one of the main reasons why they can't get far in the conversation, is because they allow the prospect to ask them or tell them, I want a lower rate. And it's the way we absorb that information. Like we'll think, we'll think that the market rate is up. There's no way I can lower your rate. Well, you just stopped yourself from making a sale. The consumer is saying, I want a lower rate, because that's all they know how to say, right? Like the consumer is really saying, hey, I need help, lower my payment because I need savings to do A, B, and C. I need to go do this with that savings. But when we hear it, because we're so service oriented, like our job is to service, right? Is to answer questions. That's our job. And so if someone says, I want a lower rate, we feel the duty to answer that, right? Like, there's just no way you can get a lower rate. Well, you need to find out what their purpose is, because like I said, we sell money, we sell solutions. I sell the reason why you're not going to argue anymore at the time that you're paying them bills. I sell the solution to not having 1 month of living in your bank account, right? I sell the solution to fix your FICO. That's what I sell. I sell the destination, not the vehicle. The vehicle is the rate, right? And if you stay in that mindset where you believe everyone's just shopping for the rate, no one buys the rate. It's not the rate or the fees. It's the answer. It's the solution, right? And if you can connect with your prospects in that way, then you don't got to worry about this market. And that's the reason why people around me, including myself, are winning sales today, even at a higher rate, even at more fees than our competition, is because we've connected with them in a different way. Like our bond is not the bond like, oh, hey, how's Julie's soccer ball game? Oh, okay, that's fake bond. I'm talking about bond where, hey, I can show you how to rid your pain, pay off your debt, put 12 months of living in your spends, right? I can show you all this good stuff that you really want, right? Come follow me. That is bond, right? Because you're announcing the solution that's applicable to them. You're helping them. Where a lot of us in sales right now are too focused on helping ourselves. And we're waiting for those laydowns. We're not ready to put in the work to generate the apps that need to go forward to earn that type of income. You know, but it takes a matter of taking a step forward and actually having enough self-awareness to own it.
Own it. When I talk about owning it, what Daniel was saying earlier, if you're making an excuse, and you're watching this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Daniel's channel and to mine, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, we are there. We're going to drop some links down in the description box below. But owning it, if you have an excuse and you're watching this video and you're saying, Daniel and Dee, I don't think I can ever make $30,000 a month. Well, you need to self-reflect. What's your excuse? Okay, I'm working for company A, B, and C, and that's just not possible.
Right.
Okay. Why is that? Why do you feel that's not possible? Well, I just don't see it.
No one's ever done it.
Why don't you see it? What's holding you back? What are the blocks you have? What are the limiting beliefs that you have? Well, if it's your company, then have you thought about switching companies? Have you thought about going to look for the next best thing where you can make $30,000? What do you need to do to get there? It's possible. Don't feel stuck in your circumstances. Your circumstances don't determine your success. You need to go beyond that. You need to stop living in a comfort zone. We all live in a comfort zone. We all get complacent. I'm paying my rent. I'm paying my bills. I'm cool. But there's always better. And it's not to say that we're selfish and that we're money hungry, but there's always better, because we can expand upon who we are and what we have to offer in order to achieve more success in this world. And you just have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your the characteristics that you have and the skills that you have. You know, I'm an effing awesome salesperson. I'm an effing awesome life coach and empowerment coach. I help my clients. You know, I help them. Not only do I train them on different loan programs, but I help them on expanding their business and how to become more successful, because they're limited in their beliefs. I've been doing this for 20 years, and it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. There's always someone newer. There's always someone who's doing something else to be more successful. And you can do the same thing no matter where and what position you're in and what company you're in, no matter what you're doing. Amen. You can achieve the next best thing. You can achieve that success. You can live the life of your choosing, the life of your dreams. And you got to start with goals. Whether that means writing them down, setting up a goal board, putting them in front of you if you're in your cubicle or in your office. When you walk into my office, I have a goal board. I have a goal board that says how many loans do I want to close a month? What are my goals for this year? IPEC being one of them, and I'm currently enrolled. The most amazing coaching school in this industry. There's also on there how many subscribers I want to get on YouTube this year. How many subscribers or followers do I want to get on Instagram? How much money do I want to save this year? How much money do I want to make this year? There's also a lot of different quotes I put up. Delayed is not denied. And then I have a little dollar bill there too that says, thank you for all the money that has been given to me in my life without me asking for it. Because that in and of itself, if you think back to those days when we were younger and we didn't have any worries for the most part, right? Hopefully we didn't. The good old days. The good old days, right? I remember my parents taking me on vacation. I never had to worry about money. Like, thank God for that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, thank God for all these loans that have come in and fallen into my lap without me asking for it, just because of the work that I put in. So, besides putting the work in, bypassing your limiting beliefs, and getting that success, you also have to be thankful for that success, because the more gratitude you express, the more things you will have to be grateful for. And so even when you're in that industry and you're doing those things, you got to be like, thank you for all these loans that are coming to me. Like, thank you for all the business coming my way. That's how I start my morning. Thank you for all the business coming my way today. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. The doors will open. The doors will open for me. There will be opportunities, and I'm waiting for it. I'm thankful for it in advance. It's opening up your mindset. Don't feel so closed off. Don't stay in a comfort zone. And also, besides that, make sure your mindset is on point and you're positive. Just like the 5 Love Languages, the super amazing book about communications and relationships talks about, we have a love bank. But in general in life, we have an energy bank, we have a happiness bank, we have a peace bank, and you name it. We have all kinds of banks, right? And so if we're allowing people to rob us of our energy, we end up feeling bankrupt. When we allow our job to rob us of our happiness and whatever peace that we have, then we need to change that. We're 100% responsible for making sure that those accounts are where they need to be for us to be successful. We don't want our energy depleted. And that might happen from the people around us, from the negative talk that we give to ourselves, that we display on a daily basis. Oh, I can't do this today. Oh, I hate my job today. I don't want to go to work. I'd rather sleep in. No.
Hit snooze.
Get up. Get your ass up. Because some people are working at McDonald's. Some people are working at Starbucks. Some people don't even know what they need to do, and they don't even have a good job. If you're in a position where you have an amazing job, use it.
Yes.
You don't get this opportunity every day. Yes. And if you're not in a position where you have that job, you can get that job. You got to figure out what it is you need to do to get to where you want to be. And you can get to where you want to be. That's the thing. Stop saying I can't. Stop making excuses. Reframe for every negative phrase that you like. I can't. Yes, I can. What do I need to do? That's how we talk about energy levels. Energy level 1 is like, I can't do this. I don't know how to do it, and I'm not going to do it. Energy level 7 is, I know what I need to do. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. Or you might be like, I know what I want to do. I just don't know how to get there. Okay, well, let's figure out how. Let's do some brainstorming. Let's do some research.
Right.
You have Google.
Yep.
You have people in the industry that have videos like Daniel. You have people in the industry on YouTube, which we never had before, like he was mentioning. There's so many resources that you can connect to be successful, but you're sitting there sleeping on it.
Right.
Wake the fuck up. Excuse my language.
No.
Lord, forgive me.
Speak the truth.
You know what I mean? Wake up. Wake up. Well, the work you put in today is going to determine your success tomorrow.
You know what I think a lot of people just said right now to themselves was, well, I just don't have any time, right? Like I there's just no way. I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. And one of the things that actually really changed my life and changed my mindset, and is something that I influence to everyone I meet who wants to get into a better state of mind, is to incorporate a morning ritual. And a morning ritual is something that you'll need if you know right now, from the moment you roll out of bed to you clocking in is all within an hour, you don't have a morning ritual. Right. A morning ritual is something that you wake up a couple hours before your wake due, right? So you get time to focus on yourself. And whether exercise is your thing, meditation is your thing, or some sort of self-education, I think is important, because by the time you go into work and everyone's clocking in, you know, most of everyone else, they're still gonna be wiping boogers out of the eye. They're gonna go grab their coffee. They're barely getting warmed up, right? And so by the time they get warmed up, it's like 11 o'clock. You already missed the important part of the day. And sometimes we forget that our consumers are making important decisions in the early morning because they're amped off coffee. They're making moves, right? And that's the best time to contact them. Well, we need to position ourselves to be firing on all our pistons by the time we get in, so we're ready, going on beast mode. That's how you maximize your attitude. because in sales, it's all about your attitude. It's not the actual problem that's in front of you. It's your attitude about it, right? And so if you want to be positive, you want to be confident, you want to have all the ingredients of that perfect person of you, that version of you that you want to be, then you need to put yourself in that state. And what I found was that the morning ritual really helps. Really, really, really helps with that.
I agree with that. Morning rituals are amazing. You don't want to wake up 30 minutes before work and walk in and be like, oh my God, and any breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. You know, so when you wake up, set a time. How much time do I need? What do I want to do? What do I see for myself as you know, setting myself up for success for the day? For me, it's, people are probably going to disagree, but for me, it's morning exercise, which I'm starting a fitness plan on Monday. So cardio in the morning.
Yep.
I have a gym less than 2 minutes down from my apartment. Okay, whatever that might mean for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's listening to a sales podcast or listening to an empowering podcast. Tony Robbins, whoever you resonate with. Put that on while you're working out.
Right.
You know, listen to some motivation. Read a chapter of a sales book or something that gets you going. You know, eat some breakfast, get some fuel in. You know, write down your goals for the day or write down what you're grateful for. I used to do that every single day. The book, The Magic, which is by the same author that wrote The Secret, is one of the most life-changing books I've ever read in my life.
You gotta check that out.
It has something to do every day, but the basis of it is every morning you write down 10 things you're grateful for. So I'm grateful for this coffee I'm drinking right now. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm able to exercise and my body's healthy. I'm thankful that I woke up with no pain in my body. I'm grateful because I have the opportunity to go into work today and make money to pay my bills.
Amen.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And after each statement, you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, 3 times. And it talks about why that's important. And it talks about the fact, like I mentioned earlier, the more gratitude you express, the more you will be given to be grateful for. So that's my morning ritual, is expressing gratitude. And I've noticed such a huge difference. When I wake up and my kids annoy the shit out of me, and I'm like, get in the car, we're getting to school, and I don't do my morning ritual, my day sucks.
Yeah.
But when I take time and do that, I walk in and I'm singing and people are like, why are you so happy? I'm like, bitch, I woke up like this. I woke up like this.
Yes.
You know, I walk in, my hair is looking cute, my hair's on point, my makeup's on point, my coffee's on point, my outfit's on point.
Yep.
You know, I've expressed my gratitude. I thank God for keeping my children safe at school that day. That's important for me too, making sure, you know, that I express gratitude for my kids and their safety, especially in this world right now.
Amen.
So expressing gratitude for everything you have. You might not have kids, but that's okay. You might have family. You know what I mean? People that surround you, that support you. And that's something to be grateful for. Being grateful for any little thing and every big thing is so important. So I highly recommend you guys pick up that book or order it on Amazon.com. It's called The Magic. I believe it's by Rhonda Burns. It's the most life-changing book I've ever read in my life. And within 30 days, I remember someone saying, like, they walked by and they were like, you're different. And I was like, yeah, I am different. And it's just like that you express gratitude as you walk during the day and everything that you do. When you get that lead, you're like, you know, you're like right there and you're thanking God for everything, or whatever spiritual belief you have. It doesn't have to be God. For me, it is. But whatever that might mean for you, that's important. So just remember, you can live the life of your choosing. You just have to look from within. Say, what do I need to do? I can do this. I have the ability, I have the opportunities, and I can be successful. Turn every negative thought into a positive thought. I can't do this. What do I need to do this? I'm not good enough. Yes, I'm more than capable. I'm great. I'm a fucking badass bitch.
Yeah. And that's so right? That's really, really what you gotta say.
Positive self-talk.
Yes.
I'm great. My clients love me. I make my clients laugh. I've changed their lives in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, I teach them things they've never learned before. I diffuse situations. I nurture them. You know, I know my qualities. I know what I have to give to this world. I help my other clients in coaching create a sustainable change in their lives to become successful. And you can do the same for yourself. Whether you hire a life coach and if that's what it takes, and that's what it takes. Whether you hire a sales coach and if that's what you need, then that's what you need. Figure out what it is and do it. You can do it on your own too. You just have to have the game plan. It's called the game of life. You have to have a game plan. Whether you write it down, preferably, because you probably forget, but think about everything you can in every area of your life. How do I become more fulfilled in relationships? How do I become more fulfilled in my career? How do I become more fulfilled with my kids as a parent? How do I become more fulfilled in my spiritual growth? Whatever the case might be, take a look at your life wheel, which is an exercise we use in coaching, and whatever areas you do not feel fulfilled in, figure out, how am I going to get from feeling like a score of 2 to feeling like 10, like a 10 in this area? What do I need to do to get there? And then work on that.
Yes. Amen. You know, I think that gratitude is very, very important. And what I think your audience really likes about you, D, is that you have empathy towards them. So like, for example, like, hey, for me, it's God, you know, maybe that's not your thing. And that's a key ingredient to an influencer and someone who has a brand and a coach, because empathy is important. And I think empathy is going to help you unlock more sales. That's how strong empathy is. But it's important because, you know, like, as long as I've been doing this, I've been doing it since Valentine's of 2017 is when I started my channel. And, you know, I do on Valentine's Day. And speaking of cardio, I do my cardio session on IG Live. So if you're on Instagram, go check it out. I did one today, and it was all about, you know, like I talked about me coming here to be on the podcast and different topics that we're going to talk about. And it's just something interesting because sometimes you just need that morning motivation. You need to see that people are also going through the grind as you. And I think, you know, on the point of empathy, I think, you know, a lot of us that are watching right now, we might find it as a challenge to have this positive affirmation or do these positive talks, right? Like, that's just not us. And I want to tell you why. It's because of the people who are around you and the people who you currently listen to. Because what I have found in my life experience is that our internal dialogue determines our action. Right? It determines our mindset. Internal dialogue is basically you talking to yourself, right? Like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not worthy of it, or no way I can ever get that.
Gremlin.
That's your gremlin, right? So that's your internal dialogue. And our internal dialogue is always going to be there. But our internal dialogue is actually influenced by our circle. It's influenced by the images we see. It's influenced by the sounds that we hear. So if we hear worries, if we see distress, if we see worry, right, that becomes our internal dialogue. And so that's why it's important for your first, you know, morning ritual. Like, the very first thing you do is get something empowering, is get something that treats you for you. Because I got kids too, and the benefit of the morning ritual is that they're still asleep, right? So I get 2 hours just to dedicate to myself, whether it is working out, reading, or doing something. It's something that treats your mind and lets you detach from the grind. I'm not talking about wake up and check your emails. No. I'm not talking about wake up and worry about what fire you need to put out. No. Handle that when you're at your prime. When you're at your prime, it's nothing. It just flies off. You got this. Like Dee was saying, like, man, I'm a badass bitch, right? That's all. That's how you got to go into it. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, when we realize that it's our circle, we become fearful, because then we're like, oh man, I got to sell out. I got to leave my circle. No, you don't got to leave your circle. What you got to find is a group or someone who may not be in your circle, but you want to be like them. And you have a choice now to help influence your circle to stop thinking that way, because that's so toxic. It's so bad to go through life thinking that you don't deserve it, right? And then you tell yourself that, oh, you're not good enough. And I think that's probably the most unhealthy way to live, because everyone out there is getting it, right? They're making moves to get that. And so when you think about these second or third worlds, if you think about people who are working at Starbucks, or, you know, you give some dude $2 to go grab your luggage, like, you got to remember, thank God I'm not in that position, right? I mean, more blessing to that man or girl, whoever's doing it. But at the end of the day, I'm doing good, right? And you got to recognize that, or you want to get to that point. But it all starts with your internal dialogue. And so if you're having a hard time with thinking that way, then you got to think about what kind of music you listen to. You got to think about what you look at, what you see first thing, right? That's the reason why your internal dialogue is fucked up. Like, your internal dialogue will be as strong as the influence that you have in your surrounding. And that's the power of social media today, is that you have access to influencers all across the world at a push of a button, on a phone that you're already on an application that you're already in. And you have a choice to pick that up and take from that to build your own.
I agree with that 100%. You guys are 100% responsible for who you listen to and what you allow in your life. So you don't necessarily have to leave people behind, but you need to create a set of rules for yourself and boundaries. So I teach my clients when they say, you know, I can't find the right man, or I can't find the right job or whatever. Okay, write down what you are okay with and what you're not okay with. And don't be afraid to say no. If someone says, hey, let's go here, let's go there, and you know that that's not the right situation for you, it's going to bring you down, be like,
Peace.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Yep.
You don't have to say no. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not okay with that. And you can actually just remove yourself from certain situations or people without saying anything. You don't need to worry about, oh, I'm going to sell out and this. That's bullshit.
Yep.
We're mature here, okay? If you're not comfortable with something, you can cut people off. You can distance yourself from people.
Yeah.
And you can ignore them. You know what I mean? You don't have to listen to that. Don't make that an excuse of why you can't do something because so-and-so's jealous or whatever. Get rid of that. You are your own person. Create your set of rules. Create your boundaries, especially in business. Do not mix business with other things. When you're in business mode, be in fucking business mode. You know what I mean? And always be thinking about how do I grow? I'm here, but I want to get here. How do I get here? Now I want to get here. How am I going to get here? Don't worry about social media. Stop worrying about what people are doing and all the stupid hoopla with, oh, she's dating who and she's dating who and oh, they're getting a divorce. Ooh, let me check that out. You know, who cares? Don't watch the news. I don't watch the news.
Nah.
Do
Don't
not
ever
watch
touch
the
me.
news. Stop getting into politics and arguing on
Yep.
Facebook about stupid bullshit like that. Come on now.
Yep.
Whoever the president is going to be the president. You
Yep.
can't stop that. Your little self in this little area you're in is not going to be able to influence change. You know what I mean? Worry about yourself. Stop worrying about other people. Because then you're going to spend so much time worrying about other things when you could have spent that time on yourself in a positive way. How am I going to grow? What books am I going to read? What music am I going to listen to? What podcasts am I going to listen to? And that also is going to transfer to the other people around you, right? And it's also especially going to transfer on if you have kids. It's so important to teach your kids how to stay motivated, how to create rules, and how to create boundaries. And in essence, the success you have, you can write your own book of success. You don't have to read anyone's book and follow the steps. There's no recipe that you have to follow.
Amen.
You know what I mean? You can create that life of your choosing with your own recipe. Throw in a cup of this, an ounce of this, an ounce of that. And that's what it's going to take for me, Miss Dagmara, to be successful. Because I'm influenced by time and my kids. But I create that. I say, what do I need to do to get more time? I need to wake up earlier. What do I need to do to not stress out? Well, there's so many things you could do. Go get a massage. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mind, your body, and your soul. Otherwise, you're going to end up feeling bankrupt. Now, I want to point out real quick before we finish that we're all going to have some bad days. Sometimes we're not going to be 100 every day. That's normal. It's okay to slip up here and there. It's okay because we're human. We go through emotions. But just know on those days, if you're listening now, just know on those days you wake up and you say, I can't do it today. I just really can't. Those are the days you need to rest. And it's okay to take a day off. It's okay to get off your phone. It's okay to disconnect from people that day. It's okay to just sit, relax, take a nap, Do something you want to do for yourself. Read
It's
a
a
good
must.
book, and really take the time to relax and rebalance your thoughts, and you come back strong the next day. You know, because all that energy we put into being successful, that might drain us. So it's okay to take that time for yourself, because you not only are 100% responsible for everything in your life, but also for taking care of yourself.
I think that's that's a key thing too, is music. That music changes your state of mind.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
Like if you've ever heard a song like that played back in the day, or sometimes it even happens with like smells, right? Like there's a perfume that takes you back to like 1996.
Yeah.
Like there's
Like
certain
Tommy Hilfiger.
Like cool water, right? Like damn, I remember that. And like Montel Jordan, right? Like there's that song that brings you back to a specific state, and music can sometimes be your thing. And it was my thing for a long time. Like I rely on music every single day just to go through the gym, right? Just to go through the cardio. It puts you in that mood. And sometimes we forget that, right? So sometimes we look at music in different ways. Like we look at music to kind of settle down. Well, if you think about it, you can use music to pick up the pace, right? And influence you, make you go all out. And so if you want to go all out, go choose your own playlist. Say, these are my all out songs. Well, it's filled with Cardi B, or it's filled out with, with anyone that you prefer, right? Like that's your beat and that's your song. Play that before you go into a meeting that you feel not confident about, because when you are on your own groove and you are on your own rhythm, then you are doing you, boo-boo. That's you, right? That's your true self coming out. And sometimes we just need these little hacks, these little mind hacks to put us in that state of mind. And people do it all day long. That's how they go to the gym. That's how they stay focused and study. That's how they stay still and read, is because they put themselves in their own rhythm. And it's a matter of finding your own rhythm. And I'm thankful to have Dee putting out the content that she puts out, because she's showing you the rhythm that you need to win. So if you're following this channel, if you're seeing this content right now, like you got access to the answers that you need to get through that wall that you believe is holding you behind, right? Like break through that bitch. Like just go, right?
Boom.
Just go.
And Daddy.
Yes. So I appreciate you guys. If you guys are on sales though, if you guys do mortgage banking, I got a free banker script. It's at salesremastered.com, and I'll be sure to leave a link below this video, but go to salesremastered.com. You can request this free script. It's fire. Like if you're having trouble pulling credit, if you're having trouble getting the people to show up on the pitch call, if you're having trouble getting through the conversation because they just don't want to talk to you, then go get this script. Not only do I give you an inbound script, but I get you an outbound script too. So if you're like, man, leads are light, leads are low, well, guess what I got for you? I got you the script that tells you what to say and how to say it, and go get that business. Because all of our competitors, they're not calling out. Well, guess what? Now you got a script to call out and go get that business. Again, it's your choice. Are you going to do it? Well, you don't have no excuse not to do it anymore, because I've written it all out for you. I've made it as easy as possible for you. And so if you go to salesremaster.com, download a copy of the sales script. Don't put your work email in it, because it's going to quarantine my PDF. It's not going to get to you. So use your personal email. Request a copy of the script. Let me know your thoughts. Watch and see all the comments that are on that website are the people who use the script. They're like, damn, D, this shit just melts all the fear. It literally melts their guard. It melts the prospect and puts them in my arms so that I can carry the conversation and properly sell them. And so that's my gift to you for your attention today.
That's an awesome gift, guys. I highly encourage you, if you're in mortgage or any type of sales, I'm sure you can benefit. I'm confident that you will benefit from that. So go to salesremastered.com to get your little piece and prize of success that Daniel has for you. Just like we talked about earlier, you have resources, and that is just the start. That's one of them, one of many. And that's exactly what you need to start doing today. Start now. You can live the life of your choosing.
Yeah, and I got a ton of sales content too. There's not too many sales influencers that talk our language. I do. And not too many sales influencers, period, that still currently sell today. I do. And so that's what makes me different. It's not only am I speaking your language, but I go above and beyond that. I've simplified it and show you the process of how to automate your sales. So you want to go hit those numbers? I'm showing you how to do it, and the content's for free. Go look at it.
Free. Thank you guys for watching. This is Real Talk with Miss Dagmara and
Daniel Niekart.
from Sales Remastered. See you next time, guys.